Welcome. Okay, so today we're going to learn how to set up OBS the quick and easy way. All right, I'm using a little bit different method of recording. I'm using GeForce Experience thingy, so my audio levels and everything might be a little messed up, but it's the only way I can actually record and show you how to configure OBS without using OBS. Typically I use OBS to do all of my recording. All right, let's get started, okay? So here's the things you're going to need. It's pretty basic for this one. You're going to need a PC or a Mac, a microphone, OBS 18.0.1 or above, and an internet connection of 1.8 megabytes per second or above, okay? You can also use a webcam if you want to, and I'm going to show you how to set that up, and then it's basically 13 steps to get through this based off of my instructions. What we're going to do is we're just going to kind of jump right into it, okay? So the first thing that you need to do is go to the link down below, and actually let me refresh this page. It should. There we go. So I provided a link to download OBS right from the article, okay? The link is down in the description under the video. So that'll take you to this web page, and then from here you could download OBS. And it'll have all the other instructions ready for you. Once you've downloaded and installed OBS, we're going to open it, and then we're going to start setting up all of your settings. So what I'm going to do is I have OBS open on my other screen. I'm just going to drag it right over here for you guys. And we are going to go into our settings, and I'm going to run through all of them and show you what to do, okay? Now, before you go this far, you should stop and make sure you have your stream key. I will add a link in the article directing you how to get your stream key, but I'm not going to show you on video because that will reveal mine, and I need to keep that secret. So let's go ahead and just full screen this guy. You can see I have a infinite window thing going on because I'm pulling from my middle window. I'm going to clear all this. I'm going to build it from scratch for you too. So, but first we're going to go to our settings. So you go to File, and then you go to Settings. And then from here, we're going to start from the top. General settings is kind of up to you what you want to do. You could just see what I have here. I have automatically checked for updates. I like it to just update. Every update, the program works even better. So I just leave it alone. And then you have some of your different settings. All this stuff is all up to you. The way I have mine set up like this is the way it works for me. So I'm not really going to go over them, but I will leave it here for a minute so you can check it out. All right, moving on to stream. This is where you put in your stream key, and you also choose oh, okay, sorry. I got a Slack message in the middle of this. So you can choose your service, your server, and your stream key. And this is kind of up to you to set up how you'd like. I use a service called restream.io, and that allows me to stream to both YouTube and Twitch simultaneously with one broadcast. So that's what I use. You can use whatever you want. Twitch has their own stuff, and so does YouTube. Using Restream, it'll set that all up automatically, and you only need one stream key, and it'll relay your stream to both of those services. Okay, moving on to output. Excuse me. So I go advanced mode with output, and then I choose an X264 encoder, audio track 1. This is under the streaming tab, by the way. Enforce streaming service encoder settings. I have that checked. I have my rescale output set up at 1280 by 720, even though I have a, and I enable and disable that as I go, but basically what I do is I have my streams at 720p just so the quality is there. Otherwise it's going to really struggle to keep up with your bit rate and all these different things combined. I think YouTube might be a little better, I'm not sure, but on Twitch it's very touchy, so you got to make sure you stay at that 2500 bit rate, which you can see right here. Okay, you could push that a little higher. I've gone to 3500 and I didn't get in trouble, but I noticed other weird issues popping up. So 2500 is the bit rate, the max bit rate I go with. Okay, you want to rate control CBR is what I go with, and it just works. Keyframe, I have mine set to 2. I don't even know what this means, but I've messed around with all these settings for a year now, and these are the best settings I have. It's just working. So I found that keyframe 2 is what works. I have a fast CPU and graphics card and everything, so I go with I just choose very fast for my CPU usage. But depending on the power of your computer, you may want to play with this setting. For profile and tune, I don't even know what those are. I just don't have them selected and everything's working. Same thing with these below options. All right, let's go to recording. We're going to go to the next tab over within the output tab. So I have I do FFmpeg for the type of output. I have a location where I like to output my files. I have my bitrate at 2501 and my keyframe interval at 250, and my audio bitrate at 160. These things, I also have my rescale output at 4K, but that's for recordings and not streaming. So when you're recording, you can increase your quality a little bit, because then you are free to do all your editing and everything before you actually render and do your upload to YouTube or whatever. So for recording videos, I up the quality because it's not needed. Compression isn't needed to have a good quality stream when you're not streaming, you're just recording. All right, and moving on to audio. This is all default. I haven't changed any of this. It's just all the same thing, 160 for all of them. Okay, and we're going to move on to the audio tab down here. So here's my settings. I have 44.1 kilohertz, I think is the way you say that, as my sample rate. It's pretty low, but it's all I need. It works. All of this stuff is actually default. I don't have any of it altered for myself. So we'll just skip this one. We'll go down to video. Now my base, oh that's right, my output is 1080 now. It was at 720, but now I've increased it to 1080 since the service seems to be handling it. My base resolution is 4K, and then I have everything downscaled to 1080 for streaming for bitrate conservation. I do a standard 30 frames. You could even, if you really need to I'm thinking like a chopper here, like with a motorcycle, take everything off you don't need to make everything lightweight. You could still have a really good frame rate and experience for everybody at 24 frames. A little bit of history. For the past 100 years that we've been making movies, 24 frames per second has been the standard, even way back then with actual film reels. And that's what everybody's accustomed to. It creates what some people like to call the cinematic, it's more cinematic frame rate. So even movies today are still framed in 24 frames. However, a lot of them are starting to go up to 30 and 60 and beyond. But they look weird. Like the Hobbit movies are filmed at 60 frames. Anyways, 24 frames is a really good way to still look cinematic and really push the limits of conservation with your stream. So if you need to, you could drop it down to 24. I just leave men at 30. I'm sure I could go higher, but what for? Nobody cares when it's a stream. It's the high quality videos that they care about mostly. I have my downscale filter at 16 samples. I'm not sure what that does, but it's working for me. So, and again, if you guys need to conserve as well, you can drop this 1920 by 1080 output to 720, and you'll still have DVD quality streaming with your resolution and everything, but you're still saving. You can even go down to 480 if you have to. That's still technically DVD quality. 720 is technically between Blu-ray and DVD. That's like an in-between res that's shared between both those formats. All right, hotkeys. These are pretty self-explanatory. I don't use them, but that's just because my brain isn't as cool as people who can use them. So if you could set up all these different kinds of things, you could be a really, really cool OBS user. This is like some studio quality, different controls you can do with like transitions and shit. You can control basically everything with keys, but I just like to keep it simple and push the buttons with my mouse. Under advanced settings, I have a normal process priority set up. My renderer is Direct 3D 11. This depends on you and your computer. I go with Direct 3D 11 just because it's working. I don't have anything selected under video adapter. All of this stuff in this tab is actually, the only thing that's edited by me, I believe, is the delays and the retries. So this is all default. You can compare with yours. With updated versions of the software, the defaults might change, who knows, but these are my settings in here. And there's the things that are important in here are the stream delays and the retry delays. So you want to have some sort of delay set up so you can really buffer all the video and then send a really good quality video to your streaming service. What it does is it kind of holds the information on your computer and thinks about it before it sends it instead of sending it right away. I'm sure I could get away with no delay because my computer's better than most, but I don't mind that there's a delay, and I just like everything to be as good as possible, so I leave a 10-second delay. And then even my services have a delay. Twitch is a little bit shorter. YouTube has their own like 30-second delay or something like that. So, and then another thing that you want, this is up to you, you want to have a timer on how many times the stream is going to retry to connect and what the delay is. So if you lose internet connection, even if it's just for a couple seconds, you could set your program to automatically reconnect. So there might be a hiccup in the stream, but you're still maintaining the connection. So I just keep mine at 10 seconds and 20 retries. I think that's the default, and I just leave that there. All right, so we've gone through all the settings. So let's go ahead and close that. And we're going to build a new scene, okay? So down here on your bottom left, you hit this little add button. And I'm just going to call it tutorial. All right, here's a new scene. It's blank. You can't see me, but you can hear me. What we're going to do is now we're going to create a source. Okay, so hit add, and then first thing we're going to do is go ahead and just add the mic. So we're going to go add audio input capture. All right, now I already have it set up down here as Blue Yeti, but I'm just going to show you. So you add, we can name it whatever you want. I just went with default. And then you find in your devices, here's my Yeti right there. Bam. So now at the bottom, you could see right here the green audio input capture, and from here you can also control your levels. All right. I try to keep everything as evenly matched as possible. The next thing we're going to do is add a display capture. Okay, this is going to be like your desktop. You can do game capture. I think that you call it software capture in my opinion, or not window capture, but you could pull up you can actually just use only the game, but for sake of simplicity, we're just going to say display capture. And this is what I do anyways. So we're going to create a new display capture. Okay, and by default, it's actually selecting my middle monitor. But I have 3 of them. This is the one I want, though. This is the one I am streaming on. You could choose whichever monitor you want. Okay, so there we are. Look, now it's creating that infinite window loop again. Now we're going to add, just for the hell of it, we're going to add my webcam. So that's going to be video capture device, okay? And I already have one set up. It's called StandCam. It's my webcam right there. There we are. And then you can kind of drag and drop this wherever you need it to be, okay? So I'm kind of leaning to the left. I could center myself a little bit, but really I should just reposition my body. So there we go. And then we can make this big. We can make it small. Whatever you need to do, okay? And these are the basics. With the settings that I've shown you up there, and with these 3 basic sources, oops, moving the whole window. With these 3 basic sources, you have audio, you have video, and you have your window capture. Those are the 3 important things that you need in order to stream. And you can even do without the cam. It's not 100% necessary. It really depends on what you want to do. So you can go as simple as having a mic and a window capture, and that's it. You can even go without a mic, although at that point your stream is just kind of crappy. Even if you had a crappy mic, you should use it. Okay? Most people can't tell the difference anyways between a crappy mic and a good mic. So at least have a mic, but you could totally roll without a cam. If you have one, here's how you set it up. Okay, and then with that, that's pretty much it. At this point, what you want to do is run a test. So you can you can start a recording, and you can, say a few words. You can test your audio, play some music. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm not sure how this is gonna match, but I could see it visually at the bottom. So there's some music going on from like Oblivion, and I can see that the music is a little bit louder than me. So I'm going to turn it down over here on this end, but I could also control it over here as well. I can pull that desktop audio, and you can see where it's peaking. So you see those little dots it leaves behind? It's showing you its peak, which is kind of nifty. So you can kind of ensure that I am guessing that I am a little bit louder than the music, but I'm not quite sure because I haven't reviewed it yet. But you can really kind of fine-tune your audio, and you want everything to be as balanced as possible. You don't want one thing to be super louder than the other. Your voice, you do want to be heard over the music, but you don't want to be overwhelming. So, and that's my preference. You can do it however you want, but professionally, if everything's well balanced, it makes it really good quality and enjoyable for everybody. You want to make everything easy to hear. You don't want the game or the music being so low that nobody could hear it, but you also don't want yourself to be too low where nobody can hear it either. So, and that's basically that. At this point, you're set up. You could, if you're happy with the way your video turns out, your little test video, you hit start streaming and you're good to go. I hit this button, I go live on both Twitch and YouTube, and it's going. It's ready to go. I could pull up anything on my middle screen, and it'll show it. So if I start playing a game on my middle screen, that's what I'm streaming. And with these settings, that's all you really need. You're set. There's a million other things that you can do. You can set up green screens. You can set up webcams that don't need a green screen. You can, mess with your lighting. You can see in my background, I have reflections on the glass prints behind me, right? I don't care. Whatever. I'm not super serious about all this stuff. I just have fun with it, and most people don't care. I don't need to be super professional with everything to have a good show. But you can do all kinds of stuff. You could set up multiple cameras and have them all ported, and then you could switch between them. And with this software, you could start your own news network if you really wanted to. It's very powerful. But to get started, this is all you need. With that said, I forgot to ask for subscribers in my last big tutorial video. So if you liked this video and I helped you out, please subscribe. And see what else. If you have any questions, ask those in the video or in the comments below, and I'll answer all of them as best I can. And if you guys have any suggestions for future videos, let me know, and I'll be happy to make them. They're not that hard. I just pop open a program and show you guys how I'm doing it. So non-scripted, I just wing it. Any video you guys want, I'll make it. So with that said, have a good day, everybody, and I'm going to shut this sucker down and think about another video to make. And if I can figure out how to do that using this new software, here we go. Stop and save.